All right, so here we go. We've got our dog showing up here in our movie using ActionScript, but it's not in the right place. So how do we change that? Well, there are a couple different ways to do it. And in order to understand that, let's go back over to our Flash file here and talk about how the stage works in Flash. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here to View Rulers, and this is set to pixels here, and this is the way that ActionScript will generally read stage location is in pixels. And I'm going to get it so we've got the origin up here. You'll see is 0, 0, and what that means is x equals 0, y equals 0. And I'll show you what that means. So let me zoom in here, and x is this direction. So we've got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, etc. And y is this direction, vertical, up and down. We've got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. And so Flash is going to locate objects on the stage according to their XY coordinate system. So if we said X100, that'd be right here. Y80 would be right there, would be that point. Ding. So that would be called, X position, X position 100, Y80. So the only thing to pay attention here is that positive x is going this direction, positive y is going down, which is a little bit different from your standard Cartesian coordinate system. So the default location, when you tell something using add child to put something on the stage, the default location is 0, 0. And that is x equals 0, y equals 0, which means up here in the upper left-hand corner of the stage. That's the default. So in order to get our dog to show up in the center, we can do this one of two ways. We can either set our registration point of the symbol itself so that the corner will place our dog here when we put it at 0, 0. Or we can go back and set x and y coordinates in our ActionScript using properties. Let's go ahead and do it the easy way first, which is just changing our registration point. Clear this stuff off. All right, so go to the library, and right away you'll notice that in the library I've got my registration point here in the center of the dog. And sure enough, there's that little crosshair, it's in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take him, select him, and drag him down here so that he's here relative to the crosshair. Okay, that changes the registration. Save my file, test the movie, and sure enough, he's centered now. Problem is he's too big. Well, that's easy. Just go out here, Q, hold down Shift so we don't distort him, scale him down that way. Save it, test it. There we go. And so we can adjust that accordingly. If I want to kind of move him over here to be more in the center, that's fine too. Save, test. So that's how you can affect your the symbol placement based on the registration. If you want to be more precise, you can go here to Window, Align, call up the Align palette here, say check Align to Stage, and you could line them up on the left and the top that way, so you'd have that corner right there. That would give you that kind of perfect placement. Or you could put it exactly in the center and so forth. So the Align palette is very useful for getting things to behave in a predictable fashion. So I'm just going to leave it at that, save it, and test my movie. So now he's going to be lined up here in the upper left-hand corner. Now, let's try to change the dog's position using properties of the movie clip class over in the ActionScript. So let's go back to our ActionScript and let's go back to our constructor function here. So we've got add child dog. All right, once we have that child on the stage, we can then say dog dot x equals, and remember equals means gets, so we're telling it set the dog.x property to be whatever we say it is, and let's say 100 semicolon to end the directive. And we can set the y property dog.y equals 150 semicolon. Save it, test it, and we've moved him down here. And the height of my movie is, I think it's a 300 pixel high movie, and so 150 would put that tail right there at the center. So if I wanted to move him up, if that's too much, I'll say, well, that was too much. So let's go 100. Save, test. And now we've moved him up. If we want to move his x property back to the left, we'll enter a smaller x value here. X equals 50. Save it, test it. And you can see how we're able to quickly go ahead and adjust our dog's position on the stage just by changing those x and y values. Now I could also add some other properties. These are called properties, so we'll get more into this later, and they come when you extend and import the movie clip class. Let's use dog dot scale x, capital X, equals 200 semicolon, and dog dot scale capital Y equals 200. And those are percentages of the dog, so now the dog should show up twice as big. Save it, test it. Whoa. Let's see. I might have done something funny there. I think I might have made it 200 times bigger. I think I want to actually go 2. Let's try that. Save it, test it. There we go. So I made him 200 times bigger. So we can add a decimal value here, 1.5. And we could also add a smaller than 1, like a 0.5. So this is going to be a distorted dog here. So now I've got a squished dog because he's only half of his Y scale, but 1.5 times his X scale. Or I could set these both to 1.5. Save. And now he's 1.5 times bigger. Now, if you want to quickly get rid of something, but maybe want to bring it back later and you don't want to keep writing the code, what you can do what's called commenting a line out. So just by putting comment slashes in front of each of those lines, I've disabled them. So I save it, test it, and I go back, and now the dog will just show up at his regular 1-to-1 scale. So anyway, that's how you bring something onto the stage using ActionScript. That's how you manipulate some of the properties in ActionScript, and yeehaw.